Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made! Touchdown, Oregon!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
A 3:30 kickoff. Oregon taking on Stanford in Palo Alto. New intern alert! Welcome to the Quack Video team. Alex is here editing from right after practice today. The Ducks just came off the practice field. We have Coach Lanning for you right off the practice field. The entire Quack Video team here in the studio. It's full today. Alex, do me a favor. Turn the air up. Yeah, thank you. That would be great. Dan Lanning, though, after practice today, we have that for you to kick things off. Rob's going to join us. Mosley, that is, coming up in just a little while. Talk a little football, a little bit of volleyball. Congratulations to Oregon women's golf. First career win for Ashley Park. Team victory for the Ducks yesterday. Congratulations, Derek Radley's squad. Number 2 in the latest national rankings, the Oregon women's golf team. I'm planning to have Coach Radley join us on the show next week during the football bye week, talk a little bit about his team and a lot of things, actually, to cover with Coach Radley. Also today, this is going to be fun. Live in the studio, Oregon men's tennis head coach Nils Schyllander and a U.S. Open qualifier in Quinn Vandecasteele, a junior on the team heading into this year. Quinn's going to join us. Coach Schyllander reached out and was like, hey, we're back. Quinn's having an awesome summer, and this weekend he's traveling to the All-Americans. Congratulations to Quinn Vandecasteele. He's going to be with us live in the studio along with his head coach, Nils Schyllander. Nils Schyllander responsible for by far the coolest thing that we have in the studio. This is an Oregon tennis ball that is signed by Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and John McEnroe. And Nils Schyllander was kind enough to donate it to the studio. So shout out, Coach. We appreciate you. They'll be with us coming up. Also, interviews this week. Bucky Irving, Stephen Jones, Jordan Birch, Casey Kelly, Jamal Hill, Tyshim Johnson, Troy Franklin, Duck football student athletes, all on the show today, tomorrow, maybe some on Friday. Oregon volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer also talked to the media today. We have that for you coming on the Go Ducks YouTube. We'll also have it for you on the show here coming up as the Ducks get ready to take on Washington and Washington State this weekend. And Oregon soccer head coach Graham Abel, his Ducks in action on Thursday. It's televised on Pac-12 Insider. KWVA's got the hometown call for you as well. Colorado in town on Thursday. All right. There's your week ahead. The Willamette Valley Cancer Institute always brings you our chat with Coach Lanning every Wednesday. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Right after practice today, head coach Dan Lanning meeting with the media.
All right. Really good day today from our players. They came out here and they competed really hard. I thought yesterday wasn't as good of a practice. We challenged them coming in, and they really brought it today. So third down, red area again today. Good compete across the board. Looking to get better and excited for this weekend.
The no music at practice, part of the drilling home is to bring your own energy kind of deal?
Yeah, we're just recognizing this environment's going to be a little bit different. We need to change the environment a little bit at practice.
Get an explanation from the Pac-12 on the hits on Bucky?
I haven't seen him yet, no.
You talked earlier this week about wanting to learn to win on the road. What does that specifically look like for you? Are there things that you guys did at Texas Tech that you didn't like that you're trying to change specifically?
You know, I thought Jalen Hurts said it perfect the other day when he was talking about, 1A and 1B. 1A win, right? 1B play to the standard. If you do either one, right, without the other, you're going to feel unfulfilled, right? And that's really what it's about for us is making sure we hit 1A and 1B. We want to play to the standard, and we want to win the game, right? But win the game most importantly. We were able to do that at Tech, but we didn't feel like we played to the standard, right? And that's what we want to make sure we bring this week.
some of the younger running backs kind of stepped up and shown something in practice so that they are ready?
Yeah, we've got plenty of guys back there that can tote the rock and are ready to go, but it's not just toting the rock. It's how they do in protections. It's what they do from a route standpoint. But we have the guys there that can do a good job. And like I said before, you're not going to fill a Noah Whittington shoes. Like what that guy's done for our team, you can't fulfill that. But we do have good players on our team that can help us there.
You kind of hit on two of the traits there. He was more or less like the third down back at times, particularly in the passing game. Just are there certain aspects of his game that make it hard to either just replicate or know for sure that you have a guy that can replicate until they do it?
We have talent on our team that can replace some of those things that he does, right? But you're not going to replace him, right? And he wasn't just a third down back. He was in everything for us. He did it all. And we were fortunate to have the best running back group, in my opinion, in this conference. So I think we still do. I think we still have dynamic pieces there. And there's some guys that you probably haven't seen that I think can do big things.
Have you guys established a travel roster yet?
We have.
Has the energy of the D-line been any different this week after such a breakout performance against Colorado?
I think anytime you have a performance where you perform well, I think that builds confidence, right? And then you get to build off of that, you know. But we're not playing last week again. We're playing next week, right? So it's about what you do now. I thought the guys, like I said, today was a great practice. Yesterday wasn't, right? And I told our guys that. So they really attacked it today. They got after today, but it's going to be about what we do on Saturday and up until Saturday.
Stephen Jones pulled a lot last week and seemed to be pretty effective in the run game when he was. He certainly wasn't the only guy who did, but what makes him at his size that effective as a guard to pull? Like, it's not revolutionary, but he was pulling outside really effective. What do you see from him in that capacity?
Yeah, I told Stephen after the game that was his best game he's had since he's been a Duck in my time here, and I was really impressed. There was a couple guys that had some of their best games in that game, but when he plays like his size, he can be really, really special. And I thought he played like his size on Saturday.
Who were some of those other guys?
There's a few guys that really stood out. I'm beyond Steven. There's a couple guys that had their best game. I can't name them off the top of my head right now.
So far this year, Bo, small sample size, but Bo's been running a little bit less than he was at this point last year. Is that kind of just the flow of the game, or is there a concerted effort to kind of keep him out of harm's way a little bit this year?
Just a combination of us realizing playing into our strengths. If we need to run Bo, we run Bo, and Bo would be excited about that. But it's really more about playing what we need to do to win the game.
You spoke earlier about how selfless the tight end unit has been. Can you speak to Casey in particular and what you've seen from him and getting in the end zone for the first time on Saturday?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with how smart Casey is. He comes in here and he learned the system really well. He's able to execute at a high level. You got a bunch of tight ends in that room that do a really good job and can play at a high level for us, and he's certainly been one of them.
How would you describe Will's use of 12 and 13 personnel, not just inherently in the run game either, but how would you describe it, and how is it maybe different than what Kenny did with 12 and 13?
A lot of similarities, really, to be honest. It's more about how does the opponent match us. If they're going to stay small when we go 12, then we're going to get big and run the ball. If they're going to get big, then we're going to go ahead and spread them out and see if they can cover us, right? Because that means they have a extra outside linebacker on the field. So it's really about how their personnel matches us and how we feel like our personnel matches up against them.
Troy talked about your team's ability to get up big in the first quarter and how that's forced teams to get away from their game plan. What's made the first quarter success offensively and defensively just so good for you?
Combination of players knowing exactly what we're going to be running, right? Exactly what we're going to accomplish. So I think that goes back to what you script in practice and painting a really clear picture for your players early in games, and then also just execution, right, of that same plan.
What makes it?
Bucky got asked yesterday about kind of getting credit. He said he doesn't have to touch the ball at all. Everybody on the team can get talked about as long as Oregon wins. Can you kind of just talk about his mentality and how important that's been to that running back group?
Yeah, selfless, right? Bucky's a selfless player. He's obviously a dynamic player, right? And when he's on the field, we're a really good team, right? And what I love about Bucky is he doesn't care who gets the credit. That's a great example of that kind of player on our team.
Is Bailey 23? What does he bring to them from that edge position?
Yeah, we think he's one of their best pass rushers. I mean, he's got juice, and it really shows up in the pass game. So he's somebody we got to be aware of where he's at all times.
Once just Tuioti, obviously he got his first sack on Saturday. Just what have you seen from those two freshman pass rushers?
Yeah, we have some pass rush ability with these guys that we've brought in, and they're both two guys that are embracing roles that they've gotten and utilizing that time when they're on the field.
Once Justin can go, whether it's this week or after the bye, just what do you expect from him? What do you think he'll be able to offer to you when he's coming back from injury and has missed this much time at this point?
Yeah, he's a great player, and I think as he gets more and more comfortable, obviously we're always going to be precautionary for him, but as he gets more and more comfortable, we're excited to see what he can do for us out there.
That's Dan Lanning, Duck football head coach, meeting with the media after practice today. A number of other Oregon staffers, student athletes, all coming up later on the broadcast because tonight it's the Oregon Football Coaches Show. 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network, also live on the GoDucks YouTube, the Oregon Football social media pages. Happy to report, Evan Williams will be our student athlete guest tonight. Evan's great. I'm really looking forward to having him here in the Country Financial studio, and then Dan Lanning joining Jerry and Georgie right here in this very room coming up this evening. We'll have a number of other interviews for you here coming up. And when we return, Rob Mosley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com, we're going to sit down, talk some Ducks. Thoughts on Oregon-Stanford. I'm telling you, there's no team that has spoiled Oregon's fun more than Stanford the last few years. Just got to remember that. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Nice work by Alex Simpson on the whiteboard hand today. Rob Mosley is right there.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, sometimes he gets one right.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming in.
There's so many things he could have written on that hand.
And he chose a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, that is a factual report right there. What's going on, man? How are things?
Good. Yeah. Already sort of peeking ahead. I can do this.
Okay.
Peeking ahead to the bye week a little bit.
Whoa, dude. Did you hear what I said right before you came into the studio?
I did not. I was lurking to hear you just wrap it up, but I couldn't actually.
So I've been saying this, certainly it was a big win last weekend. We know that, right? Huge win. That's awesome. But you do, if you're the Ducks, have to move on, right? You can't just live in that. That's why they say they have a 24-hour rule, right? You can't just live in that bliss, if you will, of victory. Well, if there's one team over the last 10, 20 years that has spoiled Oregon's fun, it's been Stanford.
True.
So history says that you can't overlook them. I say that, but you're looking at the bye week a little bit. What's going on, buddy?
Just, that time of year where it's all right, we've been in it for a couple months now since camp started, but, everybody's on the road next week, right? Yeah, so, but we got a big weekend here.
Yep.
I'm seeing the Dodgers and Giants Friday.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got a prior commitment Friday night. Otherwise, I'd join you and really make your night miserable.
Are you going over to that dinner thing that's happening?
There are confirmed and unconfirmed reports.
Yeah, that's I think I've attended that event before, and it's awesome. But yeah, Dodgers-Giants Friday.
Yeah.
Big football game Saturday.
Go Giants.
I think my brother and his whole family are coming to the football game.
Nice.
So I get to see my peeps.
Nice.
And then an early morning flight, which is not exactly my wheelhouse.
Oh, boy.
To get back for volleyball Sunday, which is my wheelhouse. I'm pretty stoked for
So you're
Washington
staying
State.
post-game Saturday
Correct.
night.
Correct.
I see.
Yes.
See, the team flies back Saturday. Rob's got that extra family obligation down there.
Yes.
So, yeah, but volleyball on Sunday is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, let's start with that. Like, there's a lot going on with football. We know that. It drives things. But volleyball's number 6 in the country. Crowd was a record-setting crowd at Matthew Knight Arena. You were there.
Phenomenal.
I mean, what was it like?
Phenomenal. Yeah, it was just I don't know what I expected. You know, I obviously, you know, you make a push and you try to get the word out, and you're not 100% sure how successful or not that's going to be. Not to suggest we had a ton of impact on it, but be that as it may. And then walking in the bowl, it was funny. I snuck in like what's probably the last like kayak trip of the year that afternoon. And so, you know, it kind of had a little mental health break.
You're a real maximize your time guy.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, well done.
Go out and live life.
Yeah, well done.
Go out and live life.
Good.
Because it's not going to last forever.
Says you.
Right. And so kind of my head was, you know, on the river still a little bit. And then I walk in the bowl at the arena and it's like, oh, my heavens, this is amazing. And to hear Coach Ulmer talk today about, it kind of felt like a mini football crowd, you know, where you can hear the students having an impact and getting in people's heads. And, you know, just to have the season ticket base being so robust this year, I mean, the whole band was awesome.
A lot of freshmen that were on campus for the first time.
No doubt, yeah. So, you know, obviously what would be awesome is to see particularly that student presence, I think, stay engaged now. And, you know, it's your first chance to cheer against Washington this week on Friday night. So how could you pass that up?
Darn right.
Then a huge matchup on Sunday. So this is going to be a great weekend. And as Coach Ulmer said, you know, I mean, if this is going to be a Final Four type team, a hosting postseason type, you know, four matches a postseason type team, you know, this is a weekend where you gotta burnish your resume, and the opportunity's there. So, yeah, really excited for those guys for sure.
Friday, 6 o'clock, and then the Ducks are in action again against Washington State at noon on Sunday. That's the schedule ahead for Oregon volleyball. Yeah, it's, you know, for me, like I asked Coach Ulmer this yesterday, and I think that you'll have an interesting perspective too. Like, you see,
that's generous.
You always have an interesting perspective. Come on, that's why you come on the show.
My bad. Okay.
You know, you can't give anybody a compliment these days. Am I right, Alex? Right. Yep. Can't give anybody a compliment.
No wonder you keep him around.
Yeah, see, it works sometimes. No, but so like we saw earlier this year a record-setting attendance for Nebraska volleyball. Right. Like you saw that they broke the record for a women's sporting event in attendance. Then you see locally, you see the Oregon example of that, breaking the volleyball attendance record at Matthew Knight Arena. It's a rivalry matchup. It's big. You know, that's awesome. But like, just to see those numbers and those metrics. Man, it's just awesome to see for that sport, for athletics in general. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah, for female student athletes. I mean, Coach Ulmer's post-match comments last Friday, I thought was it Friday? Yeah, we're really on the nose, and particularly for this community, and acknowledging the job that like Sabrina Ionescu and the women's basketball program did in kind of, for lack of a better term, sort of normalizing going to women's athletics events in the same manner you do men's athletics events, which, you know, for decades that was the norm. And, you know, I think if you talk to PJ Reese or people like that, Becky Sisley, they'll tell you they felt like an afterthought for decades and decades. And so to see that turn, and now just to be completely, you know, just part of the routine, you know, is the basketball team playing this weekend? Is it the men or the women, you know? And either way, there's going to be a really rabid fan base excited to see whichever team it is. And in a lot of cases, both. So, you know, there's a lot of big picture elements to that. And obviously, you know, the Nebraska example, there's some unique elements that allow them to fill up a football stadium.
Right.
But there's some unique elements here, too, that it's not just, more people are watching volleyball. That is true. Right. But unique to this community as well is just kind of this awakening, this emerging acknowledgement of, you know, the entertainment and the competitive spirit that these athletes put forth. It's really fun to watch and cheer for.
Rob Mosley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. So, yeah, volleyball, big weekend, soccer coming up as well, and then football on the road. Look, I know that it sounds like coach speak, that it's, hey, you can't overlook anybody, but I'm telling you, so here was the comment. I'm going to read it because this is so true. From Ducky, great name, by the way, on YouTube. Stanford has ruined quite a few evenings for me in the past.
Yeah.
Me too!
Yep.
Yeah, this is one that you can't overlook.
There's these psychic scars that develop.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking about this in terms recently of hosting Cal, and there's some other games on the home schedule that've had a little more buzz about them, and I wonder, this is not scientific in any way, but there's been enough Cal games over the years where the weather's just been awful. I think for most people, if you think about the 3 worst games you've sat through weather-wise, they might all be against Cal.
That's so true.
And so I wonder if people are thinking about, do I want to go to another Cal game? It'll probably be dumping rain the one time of year.
That's so interesting.
But we have to overcome those scars. And by the same token, I think, what Stanford has done over the years just has left deep wounds on the psyche of longer-term Oregon fans who think back to, block punts against the Harrington team and, 20-something years ago and the 2012 game and, a out-of-bounds call that should have been made. And who knows how that season goes and, a handoff that gets made prior to halftime a couple years ago, and that game goes different. I mean, you understand people being wary.
Right.
By the same token, you play the matchup, and you'd like to think that Oregon is on a pretty good roll and can keep momentum going, but certainly understand that fan perspective too. Dude, I'm ready for anything.
Man, you really got me with the Cal example, because actually, so true story, and I was talking with Rob Mullins about this yesterday. The ticket sales, we've seen those around the Casanova Center. The ticket office has all this data that's showing that every game for the most part is standing room only.
Yeah.
USC, Oregon State, standing room only tickets just went on sale because everything else is sold out. Cal is the only one that if you want a reserved seat, you go get it.
Yeah.
Rob and I were even just talking about that. Why? It's early November. It could be the last time they match up for a while, and I think you nailed it. Maybe that's it.
Even if it's just subconscious. Yeah. I just wonder. Again, not scientific.
But it is. Look at the ticket sales.
It's a theory.
I think it's
a theory.
I think it's a theory that we can say is being tested right now.
Yeah.
So, fans, if I could guarantee, let's just say
a beautiful
crisp
day. Fall day. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it changes. Boy, that's so true, though. That's amazing. Rob Mosley joining us now on the field. Look, you look at all the metrics, I'm sure, and then like I do, where you look at the breakdowns of statistics and blah, blah, blah. This is a game that Oregon should win, but you still got to get better and play well.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, we talked about in the Quack Minute, we talked about the defensive line, and I think I'll be watching them because I think this is a matchup that you feel like, they should be pretty productive again, based on how they played last week and, kind of how things align for Stanford right now. And then particularly with that Washington game looming out there on the horizon, you want to feel like you can affect the passer against whoever you're playing week in, week out.
Right.
And it's not just Washington. You think about the quarterbacks that are coming up, later on the schedule. And so, being able to see the defensive front repeat that kind of pressure and affect the quarterback that way and show that that's something they can do week in, week out. Again, the way this schedule stacks up the rest of the year would be a real bright spot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
gonna be a good trip. What else are you doing during the bye week? Are you gonna be on the show next week?
I don't know.
Okay,
if you'll have me,
we'll be here Wednesday.
I will be in town still Wednesday. If I do my normal river trip, it won't be till Friday, Saturday.
All right, so we'll talk to you for pre-river,
right?
Pre-game show,
right? Yeah. The one the next week.
Yeah,
I'll still be kind of rebooting brain cells.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. He's Rob Mosley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. Anything else fans should know? Any other projects? What are you working on?
You got to get me off the air. There's an absolute rock star in the back of the room.
Which is why I'm not asking you.
Who had one of the great summers in the history of
Honestly,
Oregon Athletics.
Totally.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Quinn Vandecasteele is coming up. Nils Schylander's here. So, Rob, get out of here.
Yeah. Talk to a real star.
The editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. He's on Twitter at GoDucksMosley. And here's my plea. Always be kind at Duck Football.
Or don't. Whatever. I'm past it at this point.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy. Back after this, stars from the Oregon men's tennis team coming in on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Live in the studio. We're back in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. All right, we've got some true stars. First, it's Nils Schyllander. He's here, ladies and gentlemen. Head coach, Oregon men's tennis. Coach, thanks for being here.
Well, appreciate it.
Hey, so I got to tell you, I opened the show with this. We have the coolest thing in the studio because of you. Mm-hmm. Like, true celebrities signed that tennis ball in Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and John McEnroe. And you still have like 5 other ones of these?
Maybe, maybe not. But I have to confess I messed up.
What?
I could have had an even cooler one for you today. I got one from the U.S. Open this summer where he played.
Okay.
I was going to have him sign it for you. And it's laying on my bedstand table.
Oh, that's okay.
Next time.
Next time. Quinn Vandecasteele is here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so you got to work with us if you're watching the show because nobody wants to look at me. We know that. So there's going to be a lot of conversing that's just with Quinn and with Coach because the studio is set up to do, shall we say, a 3-person interview, but we did the math here, and I didn't want to make Quinn sit next to me. That would have sucked. Right? Nobody wants that. And then I was like, if Coach is sitting here, I'm going to be leaning
not for
into
you.
Coach. Well, that's true. That's true. So, hey, Quinn, let's start here. You truly did have one of the best summers in any Oregon athlete's history. So I'm just going to have you tell the story. How did your spring end, and what did you do all summer?
Yeah, we finished up the spring season. Had about a month left of school because we're on the quarter system. Right. So was just training hard. Finished up my month of school and took my last final day after. Drove down to San Diego and played 2 days later, where I just kicked it all off and signed in. No ranking to begin the summer, so had to get in as an alternate the morning of the match and. From there, just made quarterfinals that week. Then next 2 weeks went back-to-back weeks, made the finals, 14 matches in 14 days, and just competing hard and working. So I played 4 weeks in California, then 1 in Chicago, 1 week off, then to Illinois, North Carolina, back to California, and then finished it up in New York.
So, and to put this in perspective for everybody, like, you started, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Coach and Quinn, like, you start with no ranking. You really have to just work your way up. Like, what was that mentality like, as kind of playing like that pro open schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a fair amount of ITFs in the past. Just last summer didn't have a great summer, so lost all my points. So it was for sure interesting. I was just questioning, am I wasting my time going down to California right now? Am I even going to get in and get any matches, or do I have to reevaluate and play somewhere else? And didn't get in originally to the very first one until the morning of, and somebody pulled out, and then that's just what kicked it all off from there.
So just see, sometimes the stars align, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
the stars
absolutely.
align.
But he earned it the hard way.
No doubt.
And a lot of those matches, he didn't tell the whole story. A lot of them were going 3 sets. He was going deep.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think at one point you played 26 matches in 28 days.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So I think a strength and conditioning program is doing something right.
Oh, I was actually just about to say, like, what do you credit that to? Like, that's a lot on your body, I'd imagine.
Yeah, just training hard always. Yeah, just Coach Rad with the strength and conditioning, and then just all the trainers here, just managing the body and trying to make sure you're getting all the stretching and rolling and after. And yeah, kicked it off with singles and doubles, and then was slowly just playing singles towards the end to make sure my body could handle all the stress of the matches.
Well, and it paid off because I went to look at the rankings, and you're probably going to know this better than me, but you got up to the top 700 in pro rankings,
yeah.
and you started as unranked, right?
Yeah.
So how rewarding is that to see it kind of pay off?
Yeah, it's very rewarding. Just grinding every single match out, and setting the goal at the beginning of summer to hopefully break close to top 1,000, so that way next summer when I finish up my college career, I can kick it off and play pro. So for me to just in a few weeks already meet that top 1,000 mark and then just go way and above and beyond was just was an amazing summer to build off of.
So here's something that I was talking about on the show before you came in here a couple weeks ago. Like, truthfully, when someone like me does a Google search for someone like you, right, it pops up with the GoDucks.com roster profile. I want to tell everybody something. Now, if you Google Quinn Vandecasteele, you know the first website that pops up now, everybody? U.S. Open. The U.S. Open player profile pops up first. So what was that like? I mean, just how cool is that as a fan of tennis your whole life and now getting a chance to see your name pop up on usopen.org?
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, and kind of how the summer started off, it kind of worked out the same way with getting in there. Originally didn't get the wild card, then someone turned it down, another one got in automatically without needing the wild card. So same thing as the way the summer kicked off, just things shifting around. I ended up getting the last wild card spot. So truly, yeah, it was an amazing experience. Just being around countless top 50 players, just through the player lounges and the locker rooms and everything. So it's just amazing to see them around, see them all putting in the work, and just getting to just be around it for a week.
That's awesome. Quinn Vandecasteele and then Coach Schyllander. So as you're following this, like as a coach, like, can you put in perspective for fans, just like from your chair, how impressive the summer was?
It was epic. I mean, it's rare that it happens that quickly, but we saw him take 2 big jumps during the season last year, and then obviously a massive jump early in the summer, and we always knew he had it in him. But it was epic. I mean, me, Coach Spencer was following. The teammates were following. Ex-players were following him.
That's cool.
Our incomers were all sitting over in Europe or wherever they were at. They were watching his matches, and
that's cool.
It gave everybody a boost to see the success.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now the obvious question for someone like me is, well, you're back playing at Oregon. Yeah. High expectations now, I'd imagine. I don't know. Does that hit you? Like, okay, I've kind of done this, but now you're back doing the college realm. Like, how different is it for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be new expectations on me, and I'm sure
you got a target on your back now.
For sure, yeah. And we've got like 6 fresh guys on the team. I'm sure they'll be expecting a lot as well. But I almost do see it as well, a little bit less pressure. It's just my last year of college, just going to go out and enjoy it, and playing pro and trying to make a career out of it. It feels a little bit more pressure there, as in like I have to be doing this in a certain timeline and maintaining the results to go pro. So I'm just trying to look at it. It's just I'm playing this year no matter what. It's not like these results are going to completely determine the future. So it's just go out there and enjoy it and try to put on some very good results for the Ducks one more year.
That's sweet. So now tell us a little bit about the roster, Coach. I mean, you got one of the headliners sitting next to you.
Yeah, well, we'll take him. But I mean, to add on that, even this is going to help him with his pro career in the future too, because playing in the one spot in our conference, it's like playing pro player almost every week. He's going to be pushed. So it's another opportunity to take your game, one more level.
Yeah.
But yeah, the newcomers, I'm pumped. I'm sure Quinn is feeling the same way. We got 6 new guys in, and they're all unbelievable workers.
And you guys all just got back, right? Like
just started.
Yeah.
Week 2.
All right, week 2. So what's the schedule breakout for you guys now? I mean, in the fall, I feel like, I don't know about how you guys feel, but I always feel in tennis like when I look at the results in the fall, I talk with you, Coach, and then it kind of does springboard you into the spring, or at least that's the hope, right?
Yeah, I mean, the fall is it's a lot of getting ready for January. It still means a lot of individual rankings, but we spread out and play tournaments. Quinn and David are going to the All-American, where, of course, our newcomers are not going to have the ranking points to get in there. So they go to a few smaller events, regional events, and then we just try to, tie it all together and be ready to go in January, and hopefully we have great success, preparing.
You touched on All-American. So you're traveling again.
Yeah.
You're on the road a lot. Have you gotten the packing of a suitcase just totally nailed at this point, Quinn?
I don't know if I've got it totally nailed or the complete wrong way where it's just all shoved in there. I mean, it's one or the other at this point, but yeah.
It's all shoved in there. Here's the good thing is this guy, I don't know how your brother lived with you for so many years because his racket bag, things falling out. There's one sock here and no sock there. It's a good thing to see, though. Coach Spencer and I walked in New York. He's practicing. Walk out of the court. He comes and meets us. His racket bag, of course, it's wide open, stuff falling out. It's good to know that everything is okay in the world.
Yeah. Well,
It's true.
I'm just trying to think, hey, at some point though, it works for you.
Yeah,
we can't change it now.
He's an artist.
He's an artist.
Yeah.
He is an artist. That's
yes,
right.
He is.
That's right. So it's funny. On that note, going though to something named All-Americans, right? Coach, first you. I mean, how big of a deal is that one for the program? To have that experience. Then Quinn. I mean, that's got to mean something, Coach. First.
Yeah, no, it's the biggest. It's our Grand Slam event in the fall.
Right.
Of the fall nationals, all the best players in the country are going to be there. If you make a run there, you set yourself up nicely for individual NC2As. And Tom Laurent had a couple of great runs there, and it's set up his whole year both times.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, just coming back this year, there's many team goals and tons of benefits for me and going pro after, but that would be truly just one of the biggest goals for me is just putting my name up there as an All-American at the end of the season, and that would be really important to me. So it's a big event to kick it off and build some ranking points.
I wanted to ask you too, you touched on your brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Luke Vandecasteele, Quinn Vandecasteele, both of Oregon men's tennis, right? So what was that like growing up? And I asked Luke this a little bit, so I'm sure that you may have a similar answer, but what was it like growing up that the two of you so close in age, competing at a high level? I don't know, what was that like as a kid?
Yeah, always very competitive, competing on the court. At first I didn't take it the most seriously. I was just, out there having fun a lot, so he was a lot more into it, but he really carried me along and helped my level improve so much, just being a few years older. So it was amazing atmosphere to have somebody that close with, just constantly competing, and nobody will ever compete harder against me than he will.
Right. Yeah, well, that
never stopped either.
No.
Yeah, I bet not.
And I'm sure when I go back home this winter and I need some practice, it'll continue despite him not picking up a racket recently.
That's great. That's awesome. Quinn Vandecasteele with us, head coach Nils Schyllander, talking tennis. What else should fans know, Coach? I mean, you're excited for the team, excited with the newcomers.
We're so deep. It's going to be really. I mean, Coach Spencer and I was sitting talking the other day, and to figure out, it's like there's so many good players on this team that we have going to have a lot of fun choices to make, and you're going to be able to have a lot of interchangeable parts, which I don't think we've had really as much. I mean, we have a lot of players that can contribute this year, so it's got to make it a fun season, we hope.
It does make it fun. Competitive at practice, I'd imagine.
Competitive, I'm sure. Yeah, the energy's been great with a bunch of fresh faces, all super excited, and so I'm sure the energy will just continue rising as we get closer and closer to season, and everyone's antsy to play.
That's fun. When does it all kick off? You got to finalize schedule for the fall?
Yeah, we play the Huskies on March 6th.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
There you go.
Okay.
That's all we need to know.
Yep. All right. March 6th, Oregon, Washington. Look, I'm telling you right now. So I don't know if you heard before you came in, Coach. I know you'll appreciate this more than maybe anybody else for a lot of reasons. And if anyone's ever watched Coach Schyllander with us in the past, you know what I'm talking about. This will be the first time for all the new freshmen that are on campus to root for Oregon against Washington when Friday night at Matthew Dine Arena comes around. So that's a date people should know.
They should know that. Yeah. I mean, that's just part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
That's good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks
Be
for
good.
being here. Hey, safe travels, Quinn.
Yeah.
And hey, congratulations, seriously, on
Thank you
such
so
an
much.
amazing summer. I can't imagine playing 26 times. I can't imagine working out 26 days out of 28. So, well done.
Pretty epic.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Quinn Vandecasteele of Oregon Men's Tennis and Coach Schyllander, thanks for joining us.
Awesome.
Quick timeout. When we come back, some post-practice interviews for Duck football. Got a whole lot more coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Hey, well, good luck to Quinn Vandecasteele making the trip, playing in All-Americans this weekend. The way that it works for tennis, there's a lot of these events and regional events, and then there's a lot of these All-American and individual pro-type events, the ITF as they call it. A lot of those happen in the fall, and then it sets you up as an individual with your points that can lead to becoming a pro. And then in the spring, you get all of those team events like the Huskies on March 6th. And, of course, Coach Schyllander already had that date ready to go. If you're looking for the latest Oregon men's tennis schedule, the Ducks have not yet finalized everything for this year. I was just asking Coach Schyllander, and so they're working on that. But this next upcoming week, a lot of regional tournaments for the Ducks. That's cool, though, for Quinn Vandecasteele, man. Playing in the U.S. Open qualifier over the summer. That's awesome. So cool. After practice, yesterday, Bucky Irving, Duck running back, he met with the media talking about, well, look, Noah Whittington's going to be down a while. Coach Lanning talked about that. That subject, what Bucky Irving has seen from the running back group, a lot of great stuff, I thought, with Oregon's Doak Walker watch list running back in Bucky Irving.
What's it like in the running back room right now with Noah down and you guys knowing you're going to have to kind of handle a little bit more of the workload?
I mean, he would definitely be missed, a big guy in the room that played a big role, a part of this team last year and this year. He's someone that always doing what he's supposed to do, someone that's always kept me on my toes, just my brother that keep me on my hands, knowing that I got his back and knowing that he got my back, just giving me that extra fight that I need each and every day, knowing that I can lean on him and he can lean on me, so he definitely will be missing. I mean, our coach always tell us you should always prepare like you the starter, and I guess it had to hit home for some of these guys to actually lock in and take every day serious, day by day, and not just take this game for granted, because you never know when it's your time or when it's going to be you. So our coach will always keep us prepared for things like this, and he do a great job of doing that. So we just going to keep eating, and the six got to know we just going to be out there running hard for him.
What are some of the things that he did that maybe were a little bit unique to him that you hope to be able to help fill the void of?
I mean, he just a guy that came to work every day. He never had an attitude. It's just he was hungry about the game. Like, certain guys go about this game different, knowing that we come from nothing and we need this. So the game to us and Noah is a little bit different. Noah come to work every day like somebody that I actually look up to, and he keep me motivated and keep me going every day. Just we feeding off each other. So that's going to be hard on me for a couple days. And then I know he's going to keep me on my toes and tell me I got a job to do and I got to go out there and play hard for him.
Yeah, do you expect Noah will still try to fill that kind of leadership role, at least for you
guys?
Oh,
yeah, definitely. He's not a guy that's just going to be back. I hope so. He's just going to be up there still talking and chatting and still watching film.
You've seen some of the younger guys. You mentioned kind of an opportunity being available. Have you seen a change at all from Dante and Jaden and how they've prepared?
I mean, they should always be prepared. I mean, our coach, that's what we got our coach for. He do a good job of preparing us. So I feel like them guys will be ready.
What do you see from just a skill set from those two guys? What do they do well?
I mean, they bring a lot of different values to the game. I mean, you got to let the game speak for itself. They get out there and they're going to show you what they can do.
Has worked so well for Jordan. This is going to be a big opportunity for him now to get even more of a workload. Just what's made him so special this season?
I mean, for Jordan, since day one, since he got in here, he always prepared like he was that guy, and that's what I like about him. He always came to work. He never complained about his role, but now he got some bigger shoes to fill, so I definitely trust him 100% that he's going to be ready.
You ran really hard last season and certainly knocked over and trucked through some guys last season, but this season so far, you are really breaking a whole lot of tackles. Is there a different intensity or ferocity that you're bringing? Do you feel stronger, and that's how you do? How are you just bowling through guys? Right
I mean, like I told y'all, like I got a mentality that each and every time that I got the ball, I will not let the first man bring me down. That's just for the people I got back home. Like that's just dog mentality that I have each and every time that I got the ball. So every time I got the ball in my hands, I'm just trying to run hard and just do what I do with the ball.
Does it anger you that if you ever have to fall backwards, you don't fall forwards? Like I can't remember when you get tackled and you fall backwards.
Nah, our coach always say good running backs fall forward. They never really have negative runs, so he preach on that. So it's kind of with our coach, he say things so much it get stuck in your head because he's not going to change who he is. He's going to keep saying the same thing on the ball, do the little things right. So it's just stuck in your head. So now that it's stuck in your head, that's all you think about, and you're going to do the things because he keep telling you. So it's just a repeated thing that you got to do and work on.
The offense as a whole, how much better can you guys get?
I mean, we're not satisfied. At the end of the day, we still feel like we haven't done nothing. So each and every week we're going to come out and do the little things right and be the offense that we know we can be.
When you do break those tackles, we've seen you pretty fired up. What is the emotion like when maybe you break a couple on the run?
I mean, it's just passion, man. I love the game. I just want to be around the game for as long as I can be. I don't take this game for granted. I've been doing this my whole life, so I know guys probably think they come out here and go through the motions, but for certain guys, it's a different mentality. So for me, I just love the game, so I just show and have fun with it.
You have a favorite broken tackle you've had so far?
Nah, not really.
Not keeping track?
Nah.
We saw some just through that video some of the trash that Colorado was talking before the game. Did you feel a little extra motivation personally from that?
No, I feel like when teams talk and do all that, I mean, they focus on that, but here it's really us versus us. Like, we don't care about the outside noise or what people think of us. We're going to come to work and play, and when we step on that field, we're going to let our pads do the talking.
This season, but especially this past week in particular, the offensive line did a lot of pulling, and the whole running back room really benefited a lot. What's it like when Steven's pulling in particular? That's just a big, like, these are all big guys, but he's a really big man pulling around and going even outside, taking on safeties. Like, when you see him paving the way for you.
I mean, but Greg's going to get the job done. As I told him before the game, man, we got a whole lot of bigger fish to fry. I mean, you played in bigger games than this, so just go out there, do your job, beat technique, and do what you do. I really don't. I told y'all like from the beginning, like whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna trust them 1,000%. I'm gonna let them do their job, and I got a job to do. I'm never gonna bark at them or they miss a block or miss an assignment. They gonna do them, and I'm gonna do me. You feel me?
How has Bo gotten better from this year to last year?
I mean, I can't really. He do what he do. I can't really go into details about that. He's just a wonderful guy on and off the field. He gonna always do the little things right, and he's just a great leader for this team.
Always want skill position guys in particular, Bucky, backs, receivers. They always want their due. They always want their flowers, their credit. Do you feel like you're getting enough credit right now?
I mean, I don't really care about the credit. I just want to win football games. I don't really care about. I mean, I don't gotta touch the ball. As long as we winning the game and winning football games and we get this thing rolling, it's not about me at the end of the day. It's about the team and what the team brings in winning games. Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to win. I don't really care about the outside noise, people talking about me. You can talk about everybody on the team, you feel me? I just want to win.
We saw Jordan Burch put a pretty big hit on one of their running backs in pass protection. Have you had to pick him up at all in practice? What's that like?
Definitely. That's why going against these guys, they make me better each and every week because I know we got a good defense and we got a good offense. So us just battling each and every day, it make us good for when we go out there on Saturdays.
Bucky Irving, Duck running back. I really appreciated his thoughts on being without Noah Whittington, but also Jordan James, right? You figure that he's going to take a big step forward now. And I come back to what Coach Laughlin actually said, Duck running back coach Carlos Laughlin. Early on in the preseason, we talked with Coach Laughlin. We asked him, hey, do you expect Jordan James to have a bigger role more than just goal line? And Coach Laughlin kind of went, well, being in those big pressure fourth down and those goal line situations, that was a big task for him as a freshman a year ago. So, yeah, they do expect him to take on bigger roles. I think that it'll be interesting, though, for me at least, to see how deep does that running back rotation now go. We'll find out. Quick time out. When we come back, might be able to hear a little bit from Duck tight end Casey Kelly. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We are back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Coming up as part of our 1:30 pregame show on Saturday, Ryan Milano sat down with tight end Casey Kelly. the newcomer for the Ducks this year, who caught that great pass that I don't think Bo Nix planned to go to him initially. Casey Kelly also met with the media after practice yesterday, getting to know the Duck tight end a little bit, and some thoughts actually on that wild play that led to a score for the Ducks.
Oh, it was awesome. Definitely a surreal experience, especially here in Alton. It was awesome. I mean, just celebrating with the team and everything like that. It was just a great feeling. Thank you, God, for letting it happen. And, we had a great win, and it was an amazing experience.
Are you like where the ball's supposed to go on that play, or are you further down the list?
There's a couple different options on that play. But as you guys know, when Bo's at quarterback, anything can happen. And he improvises and makes things shake at all times. And, you got to stay ready and be in the moment. And it just so happened to be there, and I made the most of it.
You guys got to move on from a game with a ton of attention on it. So how do you feel like guys have regrouped the last couple hours?
Yes, sir.
48 hours and kind of refocused.
Yeah, definitely. I could say this as a team. We're just trying to go 1-0 every week. That's what we look forward to. It's Oregon versus Oregon every week, no matter the opponent. We're just looking to become better each week within ourselves, offense, defense. It doesn't matter, all phases of the game, special teams. We're trying to just go 1-0.
Jordan Burgess had a big couple of weeks for you guys. Against Colorado, he put a big hit on a running back in pass protection. Have you had to pick him up in a situation like that, and what is that like?
Oh, yeah. Jordan Burgess has always been a guy. He's always hardworking, always been determined. He's always moving fast, moving physical. He's violent out there. Just seeing him make plays just gets the whole team hype. I mean, whenever one of our defense makes plays, I know it gets us hype on offense. I know it makes us want to go harder for them. And when they see us make plays, I know they get wanting to go harder for us. So it's just great when you see everybody making plays, and, you just kind of build off of it.
What does that 13 personnel grouping offer you guys? Like, what is that? I mean, naturally, tight ends, you're all going to want to be on the field. Well, you are. So what is that personnel group?
Like you said, there's 3 tight ends on the field, so we gotta show what our room can bring to the table. And, it's exciting that they have that trust in us to go out there and do the job that's asked of us. And, we're not complaining. We're there to be physical, be violent in whatever that we're doing, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability.
Will you even go back to the spring? Like, were you expecting that? Because, all right, we saw in the spring game was last year's offense. Like, were you expecting the volume of 12 and 13 personnel that you guys are running right now?
Well, I got here in fall camp, so when we did that, I wasn't expecting as much as we do, and I love that. I love that we're doing even more than expected. I hope we continue to do more. I think we've shown that it works fairly well. So, we take it as a pride and a chip on our shoulder as a tight end group, and we want to achieve it to the best of our ability. Whenever our number's called, we want to answer that call.
Tell you what, having depth in the tight end room has only proved beneficial for the Ducks, huh? Casey Kelly, one of the guys that's made that room very, very deep here this year, talking there. Man, Coaches Show tonight. Dan Lanning and Evan Williams will be here in the Country Financial Studio. Toyota Coaches Show coming your way this evening. Tomorrow, Stanford analyst John Platts will join us. A ton more interviews. See you tonight. See you tomorrow.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many